Hey all, Dr. Campbell here. I have commented on all of the outlines that were turned in, and in those comments I said that I would make a screencast going over a few things. So this is that screencast. So I'm going to flip through a couple. I believe I've taken the liberty so you will not see anybody's names, but I do want to flip through a couple of these so you can kind of get a sense of what we were looking for. So basically right here, we have the title, introduction. There are, as the examples illustrated, basically this individual is breaking down the paper and then saying what they're going to talk about in each, I would venture to say, paragraph. Now there is only one thing missing in this one, and you'll also notice that some of these are more developed than others. But let's see, I'm going to flip through a couple of these. So this would not be an outline, and for obvious reasons here, I'm just going to keep going. Okay, this is real good. So we have the title, the thesis, and again, we have the introduction. So they're talking about what's going to be in the introduction, what's going to be, and this is their thesis statement. So that's perfect. So if you see in some of those examples, it talked about putting your thesis statement at the end of the introduction. So this individual does a great job. Title, here is their thesis statement. And then in the introduction, they have their thesis statement so the last part of that paragraph. And the other thing this person did very well is, so say, you know that you all already turned in your sources. So when you have an outline like this, the whole point of having an outline is because you're going to build off that. So theoretically, you want to use this outline, and when you start writing your paper, you basically just want to fill in stuff. So you want to use the outline to write your paper. But what happens if you have points 1, 2, 3, but you don't know which source that you got this from? Remember, I had you give me 3 sources. So if you have this information and you don't know what source it came from, how are you going to cite it correctly in your paper? So this individual shows the citation. So this individual did footnotes. So you would tie it to this down here. So I would say for this individual, one, I believe we need another, we do need another source. And this is great. So they have their sources here. I would also say though, Dr. Fauci, was this the other source possibly? But I would also say, you kind of want, probably here we'd want an endnote after each one. Unless these endnotes, sorry, I don't mean to make you guys dizzy by doing this, unless these endnotes were like, all this information came from the first one, then starting the second one, but we do want, so again, the method here is fantastic. I love the title, the thesis, introduction, the thesis statement goes at the end of the introductory paragraph, and we also want some sort of footnotes or citations for each one of these. So you could even have one right here for both of these points, but you do need to know which source this came from, because when you go to write your paper, you need to put ideas with their sources. So let's see if another person did this a different way. Okay, again, and some people chose to write more than others, and that is totally fine. So this could have been longer, and we also need, again, the citations. Let's look here. Okay, this is good. Yep, succinct. Could go more, but chose to go a little bit more basic. That's fine. But again, needing the sources. So the sources, and to tie these ideas to the correct source. Submission. Okay, thesis. So this individual did a great job of saying, hey, this information came from here. This is where I'm going to get it. And this is why I was open to accepting lots of different things. But the hope would be, not the hope, what I want you to do is turn this into an acceptable citation, either using APA citation, MLA citation, or something else, and then putting, this would probably be something like Senate Gov or something like that. But you want to put all of these in correct citation, sourcing it in a, put those sources in a, at the bottom in like some sort of a reference list, and then, somehow identify which one is going to which. And I'd also say for this one, remember we Forbes.com and Healthline.com, these are not the reputable sources that I wanted you to get into. Remember, we're going to stay with news, even if it's Fox News, ABC News, NJ News, So you don't want to use things that are .coms that aren't associated with news. Okay, let's see what else. So they put this is very limited, need much more, but they did put that they would have the works cited, so that was good. Okay, not needs much more, but again has the thesis, is following some sort of one, but then A, B, two. Okay, I guess the formatting's just off. Okay, I think, oh, I actually went through, I think I've showed you enough to get the general idea of what you need to do and what I'm looking for, and I hope this helps. Oh, and yeah, and the other thing I'd mention, like if you didn't get 100 on this, if you revise your outline, which will only help you write your rough draft, if you revise your outline and turn it in with either your rough draft or your final draft, I will give you, and it's done well, as I just exemplified, I will give you full credit. And, you know, so let's say you got an 80 and you do this well and you turn it in again, either with your rough draft or your full draft, I'll give you those 20 points back. So let me know if you have questions. Okie doke.